So I invite you to feel your physical body wherever it is being held. Feel the stability of where you are, that your body has nothing to do for the next little while, but just keep you present. And breathe in that energy from beyond Earth, that energy, the intelligent field that carries so much information for you, so much nourishment for you. And just feel it coming from beyond the top of your head, right down through the midline of your body, filling your entire space with this energy. You may feel the quality of love, of delight, of appreciation, of honor for being here today. And we gather in the sacred ground of sovereignty, surrounded with the protocol and teams of the guardian circles that hold us in the flame of safety, of protection, and of nurturing, so that we are free in this space to create, to think, to discuss, totally safe, totally expansive. Then with your next breath, let that energy again go right down the midline of your body, energizing your power centers, all aspects of the physical bodysuit. Moving down right out the soles of your feet, getting a sense of the energy of Mother Earth. She doesn't move, she's always there for you. The energy going like roots down into her environment, into the richness, the warmth, the moisture, even the darkness that she is. And those roots spreading and intermingling with other sisters' roots who are there. We are not alone in this journey. And there is a rich flow within those roots of encouragement, of insight, of delight, of joy, of nurturing. And as your energy intermingles and gathers and feeds and enriches, let it flow up from the roots to fill all of your being and power centers and physical bodies with that enriched energy. Right up to the crown chakra, connecting you with the energy of the sun. Breathe and let those energies balance within you. Notice anything that emerges for you that you might want to capture in your journal when we come back. Take another breath of great appreciation for being in a body, for being on the planet, for being where we are at this moment in time. And we are in the sacred ground of sovereignty, held within that flame of the guardian circles. And our space and circle is set for our presence with one another today. So it is. Just take a moment or two as you bring yourself back. And if there's anything to capture in your journal, do so. When you're ready, be present back with us here. So now that the circle is set, I've claimed certain qualities for our time together with that. What is it that you want to add to the circle? So presencing yourself with your name, where you are on the planet, and a quality or value you want to add to this field. And the way we'll do that is I will just tag one of you to begin. And when you've completed, we'll stop, take a pause for a moment, and then you tag the next person until we've all had a chance to be in the circle. So Susan, would you begin, please?
Good morning. I'm Susan Mavity. I live in Byron, Illinois, in the beautiful Midwest. And the word and vibration I would like to bring in is mystic. And I will tag Sue.
Good morning. I'm Sue Rooney. I'm east of Seattle in Issaquah, Washington. And I would like to bring in the quality of trust. And I'll call, oh my gosh, I can't read, Angelique.
Thank you, Sue. Good morning, everyone. I'm in the Netherlands, in Europe, and at my place, it's 6:45 p.m. So I'm really, really pleased to be here and excited. And my word is beauty. And I tag, oh, Christina. We all need glasses.
Yes. My name is Christine. Not so far away from you, in Zurich, and I'm really happy to be here last minute. And my word is courage. Courage. Courage.
Christina, it was a little wobbly. Tell them again where you are located.
Okay, I'm located in Switzerland, in Zurich. Yeah, not far from the Netherlands.
No.
So there is Carla, remains Carla. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Kala. I'm from Skagit Valley in Washington State. So it's north of Seattle. Let's see. I'd like to bring humanity as my word.
Great, Kala, humanity. So we have mystic, trust, beauty, courage, humanity. And whenever a group comes together, you know, where they say two or more, there's a field that is created. I'm speaking to the choir here. I know you're not newbies, but I'm going to say it anyway because I want to get us all on the same page. There's a field of energy created. That's a field that is in intelligence, and it has a presence as its own identity, because we've called it together, and we have access to it. Things come from that field that would not emerge if this particular group weren't together. So we call forth things just because we are present. You know, that old saying that says your presence is enough. It is. It's enough to begin new things, which is, you know, kind of where we are in our life. Many times in the past, but a bit major right now. So this particular class grows out of the work that I've been doing for 30 years, and in listening to my teachers. We'll talk about that in a minute. But about 2 years ago, once my daughter, who was dying with heart disease, had a heart transplant. And once she's now stable, now she's going to live, and now she's going to grow, etc. And that freed me up quite a bit. So I called a group of my friends together, leaders that I trusted, and said, would you help me put my work together more in a business model, a little bit more secure, not just me alone. And what came out of that was a Sacred Ground Collective, which is a place where women can come together, do what we're doing here, all for the good of ourselves and each other. And it's based on the concepts from the Galactic Information I received. So in that collective, whenever you have a community, because it really is a community, wherever you have a community, it's important to have some kind of agreements about how we interact with one another. And even though we may not speak of them a lot, nevertheless, they're there. So the first place I wanted to start was just to go over these agreements that we have within that Sacred Ground community, so that you know kind of what community we're functioning from. So this is the intention of Sacred Ground community, and it's an organic community. So we're always evaluating, is there a change we need to make? So here we are at this point. We hold space for women to wake up, acknowledge and heal the wounds they carry in order to build lives that bring benefit and good. We understand our hidden history as Galactic Star Families. Being deeply rooted in these truths enables us to maintain sovereignty and restore ourself to our soul's true nature. We honor each woman's experience. Now I've got to pop that back. Whoops. As you can see, it has a mind of its own. We honor each woman's experience, power, and authority. We encourage each to go within, be in stillness, and find their unique contributions. So that's our intention. So these are the agreements that we hold, and they're based on circle principles from a lot of different communities who've been using these agreements or types for a long time. So we gather in the sacred space of safety and sovereignty. One person speaks at a time, and each is free to pass. We recognize that each woman is a leader in her own life. We share leadership to preserve the integrity of the circle and the purpose we have come together. We pause to hear guidance from the intelligence of those of good in the unseen. We respectfully listen to each other's inner guidance. We listen deeply from our heart. We share concisely from our personal life experiences. We listen with discernment rather than judgment. We are self-responsible and apply good mind, and we'll be talking about that as we go along. We apply good mind in monitoring our own energy. That basically means if you get triggered, you don't blame the other person. You take time to find out what is your own pattern and use your tools to get yourself back into that energy of what we call good mind. We are not here to fix, change, or advise. These are especially in our community circles for projects, unless we're asked. Our spiritual experiences and visions are held as sacred and valuable, and what is spoken in our circles stays in our circles. And again, that really applies to anything that's more personal, and especially in our project circles. When we're in class, of course, I encourage you to share what you're learning with other people. That's kind of a different matter. So that's who we are as a community. So I want to tell you my intention for this class, and then I'd like to hear from each of you, again, if you choose, what was why you were drawn to this class. What is it you maybe hope to gain or hope to share? So me first. I'm in '89, and some of you have heard this story before, but it still goes back to the story of why I'm doing what I'm doing. In 1989, I had by that time learned about affirmations. That's about all that I knew was affirmations, which said I could have a role in designing what my life was about. I was raising 9 children as a single mom. My husband had been killed in a car accident, and I had been told, or assumed I'd been told, I don't even know where it came from, but certainly from my religion, that God had a plan for me, and that plan was what I was living. And my only job was then to obey that dictates of that plan. So here I had nine children, had no husband. Finances were, as you can assume, tight. My oldest was 13, 14 when my husband was killed. So I couldn't go out and get a regular job. We didn't even have daycare back then. Daycare would have taken all of my wages anyway. So when I went to a class outside of my religion. It was a metaphysical class. I didn't know anything about that. And I sat in class, and they had us all write on one side of the paper, what would financial abundance or financial security look like to you? Easy peasy. I'd pay my rent on time. I wouldn't worry about Peter to Paul, robbing Peter to pay Paul. I would be able to pay my bills, feed my family. Everything would be a lot easier because I'd have the money to do it. They had us turn the paper over and say, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you living it? And my answer was easy, because God hadn't changed my plan. He hadn't said it's time for you to have enough money. So they asked us to share, and this was a new group. I'd only known them for like 4 hours for this workshop. And I like to know that I know, especially back then. I didn't want to be made a fool of. So I knew I had the correct answer when I said, God hasn't told me it's time. I mean, in my religion, they would have patted me on the back and said, yes, you're doing really good with what God's given you. So I raised my hand, willing to share my why I didn't have. And as I shared that, the leader, a young woman, college student, laughed out loud. And that surprised me. And then I heard somebody whisper over here, like, what God are you talking about? Like, whoa. And fortunately, I didn't become defensive, and I think that's really important when new concepts come at us that are contrary to what we've believed all our life, that if you become defensive, you may miss the gift. Fortunately, I didn't become defensive. I was just like, really? So I became curious. That's what led me to affirmations, that I could write an affirmation and start saying how I wanted money to be in my life. Totally new concept. And it worked pretty good. I mean, it began changing things. So by '89, I'd used affirmations, and I had learned to do chakra crystal balancing. Now, what that was, a client would lie on the table, they'd come, with all kinds of whatevers. My teacher worked with people who were very physical situations. And so on the table, then you take clear crystals, which will pick up information and broadcast it, You put the crystals on the various chakra points of the body and lock them in so that they're instructed to get information from that chakra. And then you read the crystals. You read the crystals, and the crystals will say this chakra needs more yellow, it needs some blue, it needs some purple. Oh, and by the way, you begin to hear this is an old pattern that needs to be cleared, but all by talking to the chakras through the crystals. You do the work, that hands-on work that you guys know, do the hands-on work, and the chakras are back in balance, and the client walks out into their life feeling happy and clear and grateful. They're not carrying their burden with them. And so I knew those two things. And I saw the power of 8 affirmations, and it wasn't the end and all, but it certainly helped. And then to be able to work with unseen energy seemed to me to be a nice fit. But after about a month or two, what I discovered is clients would come back in a week or two with another thing that had triggered in their life. Harsh word from partner, kids who were doing all kinds of crazy things, and their chakras would be all messed again. And they were being told that's the onion layer. You go through the onion layers, onion layers, and onion layers. I had worked with off-planet teams for about 18 to 20 years by then, because that was the council I went to raise my children. I didn't use it to do psychic readings. I didn't use it to do clairvoyancy for others, none of that. But I had a very solid trust in this council, and that I've come to call the ancient ones. So I turned to them and I said, this is really powerful work, being able to work in the unseen. But the onion layer doesn't make sense to me. If you have a sliver, the sliver cause, and then you have all that painful pus that the immune system creates around it, and you keep kind of like trying to lessen that, what you call onion layer, or the infection, but you never get rid of the sliver. It's never gone away. Sorry, I'm a mother, I know how it works. So I said to my spiritual team, I like this work, but I want to go where I can learn to go to the cause of whatever the pain is, the cause, and eliminate it. And I didn't say the pain of my clients. I didn't say my pain. The words that came out of my mouth were, I want to go to the cause of what is keeping humanity stuck in the cycles of pain. Because I saw that's what we were doing. These truths have been around a long time. They call it New Age, but it really wasn't new. These truths have been around for a long, long time, and we were still cycling. Where can I go to learn to go to the cause of humanity's pain, entrapment in pain, and remove the cause? And their answer to me was this: it's not being done that way on the planet. So we can't send you anywhere because nobody has it. Nobody's doing it that way. They were doing early childhood. They were doing, your own past life. They were doing a lot of that, but they were not doing what I had asked for. And I'm naive enough to not know what that meant. So they said, if that's what you want to do, we will have to teach you. We will have to be those teachers. So I said, okay, fine with me. I mean, they'd been around a long time and they'd been really good. So they said, get a journal. We will bring you clients, and each client will open the door to new information. So it was learning by curiosity, learning by asking questions and questions and questions, and seeing things I didn't understand. And I'd ask them, what does this mean? All of that information is what I now call the galactic landscape. It's the galactic history. It's our star family. Why, what, where, what happened, etc. And as I see what's going on out there in the world, it is exactly what I would expect to be going out there in the world. But if we don't understand our past and what's in the past that has come forward and what we do about it, we will continue to cycle in pain. But because of the law of manifestation, that pain will get bigger and uglier and it will take us down. It's just the way it is. So I've taught, I think the most extensive that I've ever taught this information was to a class of which actually Sue was a part, where I taught it in the healing protocol, the TAG Galactic Healing Transformation System. But I've never taught it fully before, and as it is today. And I cannot do it piecemeal anymore. I mean, I can do it piecemeal. In my sessions, I teach people bits and pieces, but there are those who really are ready to build something different, something new. And if they don't have a new energy platform, they're still trying to counteract what I call the matrix of systemic domination. And it's not sustainable. It won't be sustainable. So that's why it was time to say, okay, a year-long course, whatever I know will be put into that course. But how about getting started with just the basics? And therefore this class, Galactic 101. So that's why I'm here today, is to begin giving you information for a different look at this journey that we call life. And so I'm going to stop, and Michelle, now you're on board. I'm glad you're here. And we've all put ourselves into the circle and brought one quality there that we want to add to the field. And the qualities we already have here, we're meeting in the sacred ground of sovereignty. We are within the flame of the guardian circle, and all this information it may be new to you, but there'll be handouts and downloads. So I won't go into that now. And then we have the quality of the mystical, trust, beauty, courage, humanity. So what we did to put ourselves into the circle is just say your name, where you are on the planet, and one value or quality you want to add to our field. So Michelle, you're up.
I am Michelle McTiernan Gleason. I am currently in Boise, Idaho. And what I would like to add to this group is my peace, Piece.
Hey.
But based upon my experiences and my visions for anew, that is what I would like to offer to the group.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you kindly.
Yes, and we'll definitely have places for that. As I mentioned, as we started, even, I will always start on time. That doesn't mean, like Michelle, it's not anyone who needs to come in a little bit later. You came in perfectly. You just come in, here you are, and we'll bring you up to speed. But just that's what we'll be doing each time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break you into no, before we do that, because I want to hear this too. I would like to hear from each one of you. What was it that why are you in the circle? Why did you come this morning? What drew you? And be, a minute and a half, maybe. We don't have to take a long time, but let's get a sense of why we're each here. And then we're going to take about a 5-minute break. And what we'll do again, I'll just begin with Sue, and Sue will then tag the next share. And there you go, Sue, you're on.
Thank you. So it's pretty simple. I am here to see what is being offered in the year-long class. I believe and have experienced we can do together what we can't do alone. So a collective intention to accomplish something is very powerful. My attraction to it, my interest in it, and what I want to do requires other people. And that's important to me. And Susan, would you like to be next?
Thank you. I'm here because each time Sharon brings new information forward or a new class, the rich benefit that my soul gains from that, my awareness, the doors open, synchronicities flow, that remembrance of who I truly am is always brought forward in a different aspect each time I join one of Sharon's classes. So looking forward, with this time frame we have with the solstice on the 21st, preparing for that shift, just allowing new information to carry me forward and to see what the new year brings. So thank you. And I'll tag Angelique.
Thank you, Suzanne. So I was reading the mail and it resonated deeply. So there was no thinking or should I do it or should I don't I do it? So I just have to be here. And I really don't know what to expect, but it is beautiful. That's what I know, and it's necessary. We are going into a new era, and I have to take these new steps. I know that. In a moment, I'm not aware yet of what is there for me, and I'm preparing for the solstice and as well for the 13 holy days thereafter, holy nights, and to go deep inside, retrieving new information and working this out in the new year. So yeah, I'm excited and very happy to be here. Thank you. And I go and give my voice to Christina again.
Thank you, Angelique. I have, it just resonated. It was just a frequency, a feeling. Plus, I have to be honest, I know Sharon from the Mothership Alliance, and I heard her there sometimes. I heard you speak, and it's just a feeling. It's an energy. And then I decided really an hour or 1-2 hours ago that I'm gonna attend today, but I had it set in my calendar for a few days, and on my browser, your websites were open all the time, and Christine kept thinking, should I? But then my team said to me, you're gonna get answers to your questions from that field. So, and this came through several times. I'm really happy to be able to be here, and I'm curious what they want to tell me. Yeah. And the same, the times are really, it's challenging, but it's awesome at the same time. And I really think we can create something beautiful, something awesome, a good life here. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Kala.
Okay, let's see. For one thing, I'm coming to the class because I got a pull to it. I got a nudge, and I always like to listen to that. I was looking for a really good teacher, and I found one here with you, Sharon. Um, I have always wanted to join up with a group that went a step beyond, but I couldn't get people to understand what I was talking about, and I couldn't express it in a way that they could get it. So I am grateful to be in this class and with people who can also stretch their thinking and perceptions in life and keep open to the new. Uh, and I feel like that we're just going to get bombarded with new here real quick. And so it's good to prepare for that. So that is mine. I listen to spirit, and I pick up things from all over, maybe a conversation here or there, or in the ethers, or spirit drops something into me. And that's how I've learned for a very long time. And I've just trusted that. And that's worked. But this to me feels solid and really good uh, for moving forward. So, and am I the last one here? Oh no, Michelle.
Hello, once again. Thank you so much. A lot of what everyone said has resonated with me, of course. I feel like I am with, as part of this group, my kindred souls, my tribe, as they say. I have moved through this lifetime often finding it challenging to explain, to articulate to people what my thoughts are, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, what I'm knowing. And also kind of moving through as a piece to the puzzle and finding where I fit and how I can affect real change. What are the tools? What can I do every day? And I found that in Sharon. I totally trust her. I feel like I'm in a safe space. Known her for a few years now. I connected with her with one session some years ago. And I know that big things are coming. And I know that I'm part of this change. And I've always known that a new paradigm is possible as a young girl, and people thought I was naive, soft. And my parents even worried about me because of that. I lived in a kind of a tough neighborhood, and they worried about my sensitivity. And then eventually I would realize, of course, this is my gift. My gift is my sensitivity. And again, I keep saying knowing, because that is what it has been for me. I feel this pull because, trust me, I feel a lot of resistance equally, but I'm pushing through it, and I'm bound and determined to stay the course and follow this through with all of you wonderful, powerful women. And I could not be more pleased to be part of the group. I have to say also, I don't know. I mean, I guess I should say I don't know what I know in terms of how all of this is going to transpire and what it will look like. But I know that I'm in the right place, and I'm happy to be here. And I know that we're going to bring about the change that we see, the visions we have. I'm sure of it.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, Michelle. When I first started on this journey, I was in Boise, Idaho, by the way, Michelle, and a fellow there that it was just like I had to be wherever he was teaching, and I didn't understand what he was saying. I didn't understand, but I knew it was important, and I would go and I would listen. I'm going like, whoa, and I don't even know what that meant. So I encourage you to come with that mind of, I don't even know. I don't even know. But I know it's important. 4 years later, I visited with him again. And I said, you know, the thing that really scares me, he said, what's that? I said, I know what you're talking about now. Now we can have real conversations. But boy, it's really great sometimes to be in that place. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm here, I'm hearing. I don't even know what I'm hearing. I don't know that I understand what I'm hearing, but I just keep showing up. So I applaud you for being here. So we're going to take about just a 5-minute break. So we'll be back at, let's say 20 after the hour. That gives us 7 minutes, but it's easier to say 7 after the hour, 20 after the hour. And then we'll get into some more of what it is we're about in this first class. So I'll see you in a bit.
Sharon,
Oh, Angelique. Yes, Angelique, what did you need?
I have to leave a little bit before the hour because
Okay.
I have to be in a Zoom call with Three Sisters. So, and I cannot be late there.
Okay.
So what time do we stop actually?
This class will go to 11 until 11. And so
Okay, so it's
it'll,
3/4.
yeah.
So.
So if you need to pop off, just be, we'll totally understand.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
thanks.
I will stay as long as I can, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, sweetheart.
Okay, here we are. And I assume Michelle's going to be back. I'm not sure if power kicked her off. When I started class on Tuesday afternoon, we were just finishing setting the circle. My entire power system went down. So everybody was in the circle. They just kept it rolling. They kept it rolling until I could get everything back up again. So things like that happen for sure. And we know how to deal with it. Over the years, as you know how it's happened for you, over the years, the bits and pieces come together. And one of the very big concepts that seems to be up in our world, certainly in my awareness, is the old Judeo-Christian myth of Garden of Eden. And I've used that because there's some truths in it, and it fits into the galactic landscape. But there's one aspect of it it's not that I haven't paid much attention to, but my attention hasn't been drawn to it like it is being drawn to it right now. And if you'll remember in that story, as the god comes into the garden and identifies the snake as a problem, that the relationship of the snake, the serpent, to the woman is a problem. And the woman now becomes the problem because she's tempted Adam. But then, this is the important part, I think, in our day, is placing enmity, the decree, if you will, this God creating this decree that says, I will place enmity between the woman and the serpent. Remember that part? I will place enmity between the woman and the serpent so that she will be afraid of it. She will crush the serpent. She will keep the serpent distanced from her. And as the story of female authority, power, voice began to be unfolded to me through what's the Galactic Information, the interpretation of that particular aspect, serpent being the ancient symbol for wisdom. What was the wisdom in the garden? Was the ability to identify that there was energy of good and there was energy of evil, not devil, but energy that would bring good fruit and would destroy the garden. So serpent represented wisdom in ancient times, and the wisdom is the knowledge. And knowledge, when you have knowledge, you can make choices you wouldn't make if you didn't have knowledge. So here is this wisdom, the ability to discern and know, that came to be with woman, the female, the soul in a female bodysuit. And this God placing a decree that says, I am going to have females disconnect, have enmity between, see as an enemy their ability to discern, your sensitivity, your voice into the world. And so here we are at this time of the planet when women have been, and more now than I've seen ever, standing up to say, I'm sensitive. And my sensitivity brings me wisdom. And my sensitivity and my wisdom has value. And I'm going to speak my value, and I'm going to speak it into the world. I'm no longer going to be silent, which goes against a very deep decree in the female psyche that says you cannot do that. It isn't safe to do that. And it's very deep and it's very hidden, but it lies within the female psyche in men, and it has emerged in many different forms. The reason I want us to be aware of that is we are women in this circle. We are souls in female bodies. And in the female psyche, there is this undercurrent, which we maybe have had experiences with, most women have, where it is the other women who pull you down. They support you as long as you're surviving. Hey, cheer you on. I'm going to survive. I'm going to be okay. But when you start to shine, they pull you down. You see? And the reason they pull you down is these those hidden stories that still remain. So in this moment, I want us to just embrace a different story, because we're on this journey together with other souls in female bodies. Okay, so we are here, committed to the truth that female sensitivity and wisdom is the intended star family expression. And we move our consciousness, the consciousness of this entire group, and in behalf of women everywhere, into that reality. We ask our teams in the unseen to deep six, deeply heal, transform, and remove the old story, anything that would keep it from us, from our experiencing of it. We ask our divine star families, design teams who design energy, numbers, symbols, colors, rhythm, design a program for each one of us for the highest expression of that choice. We, as souls in female bodies, support, encourage, know the value of our wisdom and our voice, and hold it for each other. Design that program, and with our higher self, download those codes into our first dimension and plug it into our fifth dimensional field. So I wanted to start with that today. One of the pieces of information that I got, because I discounted my own stuff. Did you discount your things? I discounted my own. I hid my truths. I hid my stories. I thought I was speaking clearly, but no, I was circling. So I did it to myself too. And I'm sure you've done it to yourself too. No more. So I guess it was a week ago when I woke up, and I don't know about you, but oh my, a lot of rocking and rolling to stay on top. A lot of the tools, needing to use tools to stay on top. And it wasn't just my energy, it's mass consciousness energy. Thank you, Michelle. It's mass consciousness energy. And so all of a sudden, some of the pieces that came together were this. One of the pieces, big piece. I've never, and you may have, I've written about this. I've never felt connected to Atlantis, except I had one experience where I was in so much pain that I went and I used a tool called soul integration. I said, who knows about this pain? And this whole story of my presence in Atlantis opened up for me. Totally surprised. And I wasn't in Atlantis. I was leaving Atlantis. It was dark of night. The city was in the distance. There was a small group of us. And we were leaving in order to take the codes, take the plans, take the architectural concepts, take the truths and of what built the good, and also the lessons of what we learned of what would not build the good. And we were being sent out away from Atlantis because it was going to crash. And many of our loved ones stayed there trying to trying to turn the tide, knowing that if they didn't turn the tide, they would die, but they would die. But they couldn't let those truths die and be ended. And so here we were. I had some small children, probably some of the others did too, and we were leaving with the plans for a new world. And we had to be absolutely silent, absolutely silent. And we were going to the edge of the ocean, I assume. It was a big body of water, and these small ships took us out, small boats took us out to the ship that would take us then on the voyage to where we were going to now anchor and build this new land. And I went, okay, I got codes for something, but I didn't pay much attention to it. Discounting again. And all of a sudden it was like, this is where you are. I've known about jumping realities from the matrix of systemic domination, but it was like, it's in our face. There are those who are leaving in consciousness. They're leaving the old stories. They're in small groups. They're not out there trying to change. Others are trying to change, and that's okay. But there are those of us who are leaving so that we can preserve these truths and build from them. And they all, like Michelle said, we have our peace. And the peace you have is the peace for the land upon which we build. That's the galactic landscape. Knowing the bigger picture, what it was, why we're doing what we're doing, et cetera, is what needs to be in place so that everybody's peace, I call it a game board, everybody's game board fits on the landscape. And that's why we want you to do the year-long galactic landscape. For those who have a sense of knowing that they are part of this new building, not trying to balance and the reactions of the old, because that system, that energetic system, is going down. And there are some who will be there trying to help it stay afloat or change. And they might be there till the very last minute, and then they'll leave. But there's some of us who are already leaving. We're on the ship, we're with groups, but we need to know what the landscape looks like that we're going to build. And that's why we're doing the year-long course. So I'm going to share with you a paper that may trigger some stuff for you, may not. Some concepts over there in the systemic domination field that are not true. Humanity is the cancer on this planet. All there is love. This is a planet for learning. We need the dark in order to grow. We need our pain in order to grow. When we have learned our lessons, we will not come back to an earth experience. The most important quality for earth is to obey. Men's nature is assertive and leading. Female's nature is receptive and nurturing. In a galactic landscape, that is not true. And we've been trying to build on those things and wonder why it isn't working. And there's many others. These are just a few. We've been trying to build with false concepts. And as long as we build with false concepts, we're still on the sand because a lot of those concepts have come from us trying to survive, to figure out what we need to do to get back in touch to our original purpose, trying to figure it out, all in a crippled state and in a state in which we are being broadcast to all the time to distrust ourselves. You're not enough, etc. So I want you to just take a minute or two and write, who are you? What do you know about yourself or think about yourself? I'll just give you a minute to do that. And also, if you want to capture anything about your reaction to what I've just said, these are not true. You know, capture those. That's what the journal's for. Okay, are you about ready to move? In a galactic world, those galactic worlds are groups, like group mind collectives. But in order to work with that world, when you're in the physical, that sense of you in the center is really, really important. To give up the identity of a you before you move into a we, you lose what this earth is all about. So it's really important to keep refining. I am a presence of, this is who I am, and adjust and adjust and adjust and refine. So this is kind of a baseline for you to go back to. This is how I saw myself then. And it may be consistent all the way through, or you might start to add some richness or some different layers to who I am. So now I'm going to get into the very first lesson, if you will, that my team taught me. They said, first, you have to first of all understand that there are not two worlds, heaven and earth. That is not the truth. Not just two worlds. There are 8 worlds through which your soul has traveled. So this is kind of, I'm going to show you in different models this kind of timeline. So here are all of the worlds we have traveled through before Earth. This represents Earth, the 8 dimensions of Earth: body, mind, emotion, and spirit, right there. Okay? And this is not only, most people don't even function in all 8 dimensions, they function in 1, 2, 3, and the very physical. All there is this, and that's all there is. So anybody who has sensitivity to pick up information in that realm we call mental body, emotional body, or spiritual region won't make sense to these people down who all that is real is physical. But then again, I didn't ask to know where did the pain begin for my client, which might have been this, maybe a storage in this lifetime would have been inherited genetic trauma. I ask, where's the pain for humanity? Well, humanity is this entire wave, this entire energy flow. And the way they showed it to me was we come from source, home, where everything's present, all power, all good, you know, and it's not God, it's an energy field, and everything's present and everything's possible. And we are consciousnesses, and we are brilliant, magnificent, and we have choice. And as ideas move through that world we call home, some of us coalesced around specific ideas. And those ideas, then, as we collected around those specific ideas, we birthed into, or we extended from, our all that is home to be on a little adventure as a divine star family. First world, and we had experiences, second world, all the way down. And things happened that in those worlds that caused our energy to diminish. Therefore, it's getting smaller and smaller. So all of that happened in the galactic. You see that galactic? And about 1.8 million years ago, we are told from those who have studied bones, and that there was the first physical body that we know of. They call the Homo erectus, that they found it 1.8 million years ago. But our particular families, and there are 7 of them in this collective we call Earth, birthed into what my teachings fit most closely to, the Neanderthal body. The Neanderthal body is known to begin about 600,000 years ago. That's where we began our journey on the planet. And then something happened, and we now have a Cro-Magnon body that didn't evolve from, it was just like a shift. My guides told me about that before I knew these pieces of information. And then another shift happened right here at the Homo sapien body 195,000 years ago. We were already entrapped, but these body shifts indicate those trappings that we'll be talking about. But then once these bodies were in play, pretty soon that Neanderthal body was totally gone, not there anymore. Now that we try to understand our history or herstory, it doesn't matter. The earliest dated goddess is 38,000. You see, we began up here with our original purpose. Actually, we began our original purpose here, then our earth purpose, we began here. So then we know about the goddesses, we know about patriarchal rule, myths that try to help us understand things. Garden of Eden story, or God, where the word God came to play, was only 2,500 years ago. The written account of Christ, Old Testament Christianity formed. Whoops. And here it is in a different form, in a different picture. Here's the galactic, way, way, way back. Here is where Neanderthals, and now all of that happened with a change in the bodysuit. What was going on? Here we were trying to live the original purpose for Earth. What was that? Then again, goddess, patriarchy, myths, etc. See, so if we try to look from where we are in current day to understand and get into a new game board, we can't do it from here. We have to do it looking down from where we began. Yes, we can deal with witch hunts. Yes, we can deal with early childhood trauma. Yes, we can deal with that with our tools, but it won't get us on a new game board. Here's another way to look at it. 600,000 years ago, Cro-Magnon, Homo sapien, Neanderthals disappeared, female statue, patriarchy, etc., etc. And if we try to figure it out from here, there's no written history for one thing, and it doesn't go back far enough to get to cause. And that's the reason for this class. So just to think about, just, these are kind of get you stirring. Now, one other piece of information I'm going to give you. There are in that galactic world, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube, the Laniakea, which maps the galactic. When I saw that, I almost broke into tears because it felt like home. It felt like home. And so in that goes the galactic spheres, whatever name you give it, there is a lot of life going on. It's not Earth life, but it's life of some form. Some of them we have experienced. And there are multiple family groups out there experiencing. There are 7 specific families with their specific agendas that are on this earth, and you are one of them. These are the 7 star families. And I'm going to share screen again. Each of those family groups coalesced around an idea that they wanted to experience, and it was that desire for that specific experience that drew them onto an adventure that we call Divine Star Family. One of the groups is just curiosity. They just wanted to experience. And if you use color, they wanted to have a full spectrum available. They might want to do red today and blue tomorrow and yellow the next day. They wanted just the experience of anything that was in their home. They wanted to experience it more directly. Another one wanted to experience a specific ray, a specific color ray. And for this group, I call it, use white, but they wanted to experience and radiate joy. 2 of the family groups wanted to experience the ray in my system of orange, which is that inner knowing, gifts of the unseen, that gifts of spirit. What does that look like outside of home? One of the groups wanted to experience and radiate peace, which in my world is blue. Another family group wanted to use power correctly, that leadership. I mean, help people make changes. So as their leadership, then they're clear, and that is a yellow ray. And then there's a few. This is probably the smallest of the groups, wanted to experience just that sense of home, like I'm going to be that home ray, not all that is, but kind of a condensed ray of home, which in my system is red, down on, or no, excuse me, it's purple, down onto this, wherever we were. There was no planet. This was way before any kind of planet, way before any kind of motivation of manifestation. This is energy, dance, songs, colors, symbols. So just if you quiet yourself, what resonates with you? Curiosity, joy, deep inner spiritual gifts, peace, a sense of clarity and being the one who kind of leads the pack, or that sense of home, just staying unconditional with everybody. Write down in your journal what you resonate with. Some of the qualities or the inclinations that a divine family member feels, and pretty much everybody on the planet is from a divine families, and some of us are more crippled than others. But that deep sense of a bigger agenda, bigger contribution, that overall presence of all good, knowing that that's who and what we are, a sense of wanting that community, the connectedness, the togetherness, witnessing the fragmentation on the planet, and feeling so foreign, like what and why, without knowing what to do about it, but finds those little places that resonates with home, with that deep inner you, and embracing them, and really desires to act as a conduit, a channel of building new, building from what it is you innerly sense to do. I'm going to open up the field so that if you have, anything you want to comment, any questions you have at this point, and then I'm going to give you an assignment. So Angelique, I'm going to have you go first, so because you may have to leave just a bit earlier. But is there anything that comes up that you want to say, well, what about, and I may not be able to answer the questions today because of our time, but I'm capturing them so that they will be covered. Questions or observations. So Angelique, would you like to start? Oh, I think you're muted.
Here I am.
There you go.
There is this deep, deep feeling of belonging. There's such deep feeling of, when you're talking about this is really that I feel this is where I belong. And sort of homesickness, which I recognize, which I have always had there for some worlds where I have traveled in the inner journeys, in the inner journeys, which I do. Always the same energies, the same fields, the same memories, the same remembrance. And when you were talking about Atlantis, I once read a book, and it's called Priestess of Atlantis, and I cried the whole book, really the whole book. I couldn't stop crying, and of recognition, and of having been there and having seen this going down. And when you ask me what was it look like, it's more an inner knowing than an image. It's just the image that is so deep, an inner knowing image, which has no image. I don't know how to explain that, but this is really what I feel. So, and then for the colors, yes, it's the white and the blue, and the home. Yeah, home. Home is a word that resonates so deep inside, and it's like, being connected. And what I wrote down, let's maybe I can share that. Who am I? And the first thing, I just started writing. I'm light. I'm here to share my light with all my relations on earth as they share their light with me, in order that we can shine brightly from within. I'm here to investigate what love truly means. And now that I am learning and understanding all facets, I can share that. So, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Angelique.
I have to leave within 5 minutes, and I just go and I send my love to everyone. And I really appreciate being here, and see you next week.
Good.
Looking forward to that. But I'm not gone yet. I just speak out.
Thank you, Angelique.
Thank you.
Do you want to tag someone? And again, you can always pass, but
I want to tag Suzanne. Yeah.
Wow. Kind of speechless. But, feeling all of that wonderful energy of home and connectedness, and coming away with a new understanding of how we need to move forward, and how the old structures are falling and we can no longer create in those places. But we also have to start with our own inner world and understand and claim who we are and where we're going in this new world. So today gave me those great stepping stones, inspiration, ideas to begin to co-create that, and really get a clear vision to be able to claim it as we're moving forward. So I can't wait to learn more as we go along and be with you all next week. So I'll go ahead and tag Kala.
Okay. It's on. Okay, so boy, I really related to the inner knowing, the orange, the unseen in spirit, because I'm empathic. And that's something I was thinking of as you went through this, Sharon. I feel like some of this, like are the first one, the oh, it's not experience the full spectrum. Maybe that's visual. To put the senses kind of with this would really fit right in too. So and then the other thing, when you oh gosh, Susan, when you were just talking, I got that with home, it's like imprinted in us. So it's like an imprint that's just always there, always with us. So that's kind of what I've been picking up. And I will select Sue.
Thank you. Yeah, I just like the rest of you, I can feel that deep, deep, deep connection. But it's and that knowing that connection feels like home. But home isn't necessarily a place or a person. It's a consciousness within what I relate to as home, and I relate to as beings of that same higher consciousness that I haven't had connection to. And I think that's what caused the meltdown the other day I had, is that I'm done trying to figure anything out from a human consciousness. It's the problem. It's not the solution. And I'm so done. I don't even know if I can do the course for a year if it's a lot of attention on the past. I am so done. I am so burned out that I just want to set fire to the history. I just want to, I know I am connected to the past, and I've reached the point where I have died so many times. And I know I'm one of those who left Atlantis. And I don't know what else I have chosen to leave rather than to stay and fight the fight, because fighting the fight again is the old perspective, and we die or we overpower. So this time, what I'm just beginning to truly, truly feel is reaching those higher levels of frequency, energy, awareness, wisdom, intelligence. The answer is already there. And it's a matter of surrendering, trusting, and keeping an open mind and an open heart that it can come through. Whether it's the galactic man I call the general, or whether it's my soul opening up and letting the higher consciousness into my mind and heart. I don't know. I don't even know if I care. I just want it. The solution is outside of what I call earth reality. So, Christina?
Thank you. And thank you all for your sharing. For me, it's the same. I just feel connectedness, and the feeling of home, or I recognize the feeling of home or parts of my home. I really resonated with just about each and every family. So I don't know. I had the whole spectrum, but mainly, I mean, blue, turquoise, all the blues and turquoise has always been with me. And I know that that kind of energy or frequency holds a lot for me. It's just an imprint or a blueprint I have brought in here. So when you asked us to write down who am I, oh, you know, my mind went crazy. I said, what? Who am I? Yes, who am I? And then I quiet myself, and I have been given this many times from guidance from spirit, but also I'm a trained medium. So just that you understand, I'm a trained medium for mediumship in a British way, but I didn't go to schools or certificates. I don't have a certificate. Anyway, I had a naming many years ago. And I was named by my spirit team Guiding Light. And it took me, I mean, I couldn't accept it at the beginning, and it took me a long time to understand. But now I know I am. I am a guiding light for spirit. I am a guiding light for my galactic family. I am here to bring light. And when I'm saying this, this is not Christina. This is not, you know, I don't want to shine, but I know that's my mission. That's my mission. I have to broadcast to. I am a broadcaster, and I am someone that can hold an energy space, and I can also mix or support the entanglements of a field. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that's how I see. And they have told me over the years many times too, because I'm a bit technology. I understand technology. That I am like a mobile antenna, you know, like that I'm a receiver and I emulate energy and then it goes out again. And I'm talking of me, but we all are. And then, you know, Sharon, that while you're talking, it's not just what you say that comes through. There is so much more information, frequency, and knowledge coming through in the energy and in what you transmit through your voice, and apart from the words. So yes, I'm processing. I think that's it. Thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Michelle.
Hello. I'm so excited. I can hardly contain myself. It makes me very emotional too, for every happy reason. It's so wonderful to be part of a group. Again, the energy of home, a group that speaks my language, and really in everything that you say, each and every one of you lends to deeper understanding and clarity for me. And that is really important to me right now, because I do want to be a conduit and a channel for building anew. I know this is my purpose. And Christine, you are so right when you said that Sharon conveys so much through her voice. And, you know, when I interacted with Sharon in the past, our sessions were over the telephone, and We didn't see one another, but yet I could see and feel her light. And it brings me so much comfort. I love to hear you speak. Um, also, I'm intrigued by I have so many notes here. Um, the list of what is not true. I don't know. I don't think I'm saying that the name of that list correct, but I was really intrigued by that. And also very much intrigued by the fact that the tools that we'll learn can help us, will um, allow us to be successful in our mission, as I like to say, to overcome the witch hunts. I can relate to that very much. I know, attempted this in many other lifetimes, and I have not been well received. And there has been very traumatic and violent persecution. And I know I carry that with me. And I thought I had overcome a lot of that, but no, I don't think I've even touched the tip of it yet. And childhood traumas, of course, traumas of all kinds. Also, can say that I do relate also to aspects of every one of the seven families, and I'm super excited to explore that. I know one stands out more than the others. Um, I know that when this huge shift began for me, there's been so many. In 2017 with the solar eclipse, I was here in the mountains of Boise, Idaho, which was the epicenter of the eclipse. And I was sat alone in my yard here in the midst of the middle of the Boise National Forest, I felt like I was imploding. It was a very visceral experience for me. My skin turgor changed, my hair texture changed, so much changed. And I recognized also at that time other women like me who were, I'd like to say, being mobilized. And I found most often it was women in our age group, 50 plus. And I found that younger women, the few that were I was able to communicate with on in this way, were being actually rooted where they were. I thought that was really interesting. And I learned that through connecting with other people. Was a big shift for me. And I have to say also at that point, being mobilized, which would come literally geographically, I asserted my free will very strongly in a way I never had before. I said, hey, I'm comfortable here. I've been doing my work all along. I'm good. I don't want to leave this place. This is where I belong. And my guides, my counsel, as I say, said to me, you said this time would come once again, and you instructed us to not relent, to support you in staying the course, to support you in the discomfort, to bring people into your space where you will find um, greater direction. You will complete this mission in this lifetime, and it is your will. We are following your will. This is resistance that you are experiencing. And that has brought me to this moment, and where I am today and speaking to all of you. So I'm so excited. I mean, my whole body is just tingling and radiating, and my mouth is even dry from the adrenaline pumping and the excitement, and knowing that I know that I am in the right place and I am home. As far as colors, blue and green always resonate with me. Boy, I guess again, it kind of gets back to the seven families where I feel a little bit of each of them. Lots of fuchsias, golds, whites, which I guess is a combination of culmination of all the colors together. I don't know. But that's the way I feel. So those colors really, really resonate with me. I have felt also very strongly the presence of Christ consciousness. Archangel Metatron was came into, at least in my little geographical area. I'm all over the place right now, literally coast to coast. I just happen to be in Boise, Idaho right now, which is a very special sacred space. But I kind of lost my train of thought there, what I was trying to say. Darn it, it was so important. Oh, Archangel Metatron. I'm the mother of 3 sons. I had never heard of Archangel Metatron before. And when I heard this, I thought in my mind, I thought, Archangel Metatron, this sounds like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or something. And my kids, an action doll, who is this Archangel Metatron? And I would learn that Archangel Metatron sits at the right hand of God the Father, at least in my knowing. At this time, the only archangel that does, and I would understand that Archangel Metatron is one and the same with Christ consciousness. So I say that because when I had a photo taken with Kirlian photography of my aura during this time, and it was exactly the colors that I described to you, and I'd love to share it. So I'm going to add it if anybody is interested to maybe gain a greater understanding of what I'm trying to say. So I shared with Sharon previously that one of my greatest challenges I feel is clarity and understanding. I kind of take you around the block and digress, and I'm really working to hone that skill to be more clear and precise and succinct in what I'm saying, because I think that's part of my challenge. And what my challenge has been is being a conduit and a channel for others, because they don't understand what I'm talking about to begin with, but I know I'm supposed to be saying to them what I'm saying. That I am sure of. I've learned to embrace the questions and not necessarily have the answer to everything. Yeah, I'll leave it at that because I could go on forever. I'm just so excited. Thank you for allowing me to share and for your patience.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, everyone. One of the purposes in understanding our history, whether it's the history in the witch hunts, whether it's the Holocaust history, whether it's the murdered and missing women around the world history, what the only reason to go back and look at it is to be able to say what caused it and eliminate the cause. What's the trauma that came from it and heal the trauma. It isn't to keep remembering the past so we don't repeat it, because we will repeat it if we only remember it. But if there are pieces in what we call past that we didn't even know we need to explore to disconnect, then we don't know why we are still stuck in this bungee cord of repeating cycles of pain. So the purpose for me in going back and sharing with you what I know and have been given from, where we began, where we came from, etc., and forward in time, is to help us clear anything that's in the way so that there is a secured connection, that bungee cord, if you will, to our truth with a soul of who we are. We've known things like that a long time, but we haven't been able to stay there because the bungee cords of our traumas and our group traumas and our family traumas and our galactic traumas keep pulling us off track. So we learn the history to get rid of those and continue to build stronger and stronger connections to all that we are. So thank you guys for sharing. I'm going to give you 2 assignments, and I'm going to put it on the board, and there'll be downloads. I'll send you by way of email how to get back into your course, where the videos are. The Tuesday video class and the Thursday video class will be there together. So if you want to see who's in Tuesdays, you can, and they can see you. Someone said to me, why aren't you speaking to the masses? Because it's not the masses who are ready for what we are here talking about.
Exactly.
Yet. So We have classes and we have groups and we're building, you know. So here's the first steps. Okay. Reality statements, and there'll be a handout about that. I took you through the beginning is an affirmation. So here's some possibilities. The values of my star family and spiritual teachers are, you determine. You want them to have wisdom, you want them to have integrity, you want them to whatever, blah, blah, blah. You make a discernment here because you are the point of power to claim who and what speaks to you. And you're building this connection back to your star family. And you don't want any of the interference that might still exist within that star family's extension. So what are the qualities? So the assignments are to create 1 or 2 reality statements and use them as a daily focus during the week. We'll call them your North Star. And a reality statement is just it's an affirmation, but when you put it into a reality shift, it goes on to high octane. Then use your journal to note anything that comes up, anything that knocks you off. Again, good mind is how you're feeling right now today. The qualities we brought that we're here holding for each other, good mind. So when you feel out of good mind, what tools are you going to use to bring back? Those 2 things. Now recognize there are 2 domination concepts, major concepts that are not created within our divine families from our fear. They were superimposed on us. We accepted them. You're not enough. You don't know enough. You're not smart enough. Nobody will like what you say, etc. All forms of you are not enough is a foreign broadcasting system. You use Deep 6. That's a command that brings in healers. It brings in those who can identify the frequencies from outsiders, from the domination, and eliminate those frequencies. And the other is there's enmity between you, your sisters, and their voice of authority. Don't accept anything like that. If you find yourself starting to discount or not just yourself, but especially then other women in your world, and finding fault with them, stop. Go within, use your tools, get yourself back to good mind and send them blessings. Okay. So all of that will be in a handout that you can download, and I'll send you all the information, the links. That should be up by tomorrow. As soon as the videos, whatever they call it, I will get it online, and then I will send you a link to that. So thank you for spending time with me. We've gone over a little bit, but we got to share a lot with each other, and we're off to a good start. Yeah, lots still ahead. So blessings. Have a marvelous, marvelous weekend. And always, if you have questions, shoot them off to us. There is with this package, there is a community. It's called the Sacred Ground Coffee House, I think, something like that. And you can go in there, and it's like our own mini Facebook page. And it's people only in the sacred ground who are having conversations. So there's one that's a live feed. You can click on live feed. You can add to that. And then there's also specific topics that are available as we go along. So much love to all of you, and joy. Let's do
Thank
this.
you, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Soon. Bye,
See you
love.
next week.
Yep, next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.